Growing grapes is part of who we are, I think, as just it's in our DNA to work in the dirt.
You may not know it, but there's a pretty rich history of winemaking in the state of Arkansas. And the epicenter happens to be in a small rural town in the River Valley.
What brought people to this area, the Swiss and German part of it, was the railroad. The railroad came through in the 1800s, and it was trying to get especially German immigrants. They were known for their work ethic. They were very industrious. They were trying to pull them to this area. So there was land being made available. Coal mines were big here too at that time, from the mid-1800s.
As these immigrants settled in Altus, they brought their craft with them.
The winemaking really was brought over as part of the culture. People made wine every day. It was used for celebrations, but it was also used just in everyday life with supper.
Over the years, wineries popped up around the area, but in the 1920s, the industry hit a roadblock.
Prohibition came along, and there were many small wineries here at that time, and they just couldn't survive that. So they went on to make a living doing other things.
But some wineries, including Post, survived.
My great-grandmother and grandfather, Joseph and Catherine Commonsen Post, they had a winery, and they were operating it here in Altus. And during Prohibition, you could make about 200 gallons of wine legally. And you could also make wine for sacramental purposes, for churches to use and that sort of thing. So they continued to make wine, and they had other things too, because they were farmers. They had other fruits that they grew and chicken houses and things like that. So they made it.
Today, some of the wineries from the 1800s are still holding on to their roots. But the process is quite different, stepping away from wooden barrels and grape stomping to now using large presses and stainless steel tanks.
The winemaking craft it's tremendously changed.
We crush the muscadine, put it in the press, it squeezes the grapes and we get the juice out, and we pump the juice up into one of our tanks. And then we have a device called the centrifuge, which basically takes off a lot of the larger particles, and we get clearer juice. That juice goes into a tank, and we ferment that juice into wine. So we add some yeast to it, add some nutrients, and ferment that.
And while a lot has changed in over 100 years since those immigrants settled in Altus, Tina Post with Post Winery says she hopes that Altus wineries continue carrying on this craft and taking care of their local vineyards.
Farming is very important, and you want to do it in a way that's sustainable and healthy. We want our soils to be healthy. We have healthier food. So really, it's about keeping the farming and that going. It's almost becoming a lost art.